Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaskar. We will be starting with lecture 12, which is a part of module 3. We will be continuing with our topic on the sales department relations. If you recall, this particular module 3 will be dealing with sales department relations with other functional areas, with other departments, both and with other entities both within as well as outside the organization. And it will also be dealing with planning, sales forecasting and budgeting. The first two lectures in the particular module, which is lecture 11 and lecture 12, shall be dealing with sales department relations, and in this we shall be discussing with interdepartment relationships and coordination, personal selling and other marketing activities, relationship between personal selling and other departments, and relevance of the sales department relationships with other external entities. Now, in the first lecture in this particular module, which was lecture 11, we have already spoken about interdepartment relationships and coordination. We have also spoken about the relevance and the importance of personal selling and other marketing activities, the relevance of the coordination or the relation, the importance of the relationship between personal selling and other marketing activities. So, in the first lecture, we have spoken about how important interdepartment relationships are, and we have also spoken about how personal selling relates to other marketing activities and how it is extremely important that the personal selling efforts are always hand in glove with other marketing activities. Now, in today's lecture, in lecture 12, we shall be talking about the coordination or the relevance of the coordination between personal selling and other departments, and we should also talk about the relevance of sales departments' relationships with external entities or with external stakeholders. So, let us begin with this lecture. Now, to talk with or to discuss the relationship between personal selling and other departments, we must say here that the personal selling effort is something which is an important function, because it involves informing, persuading and convincing a person or a prospective client to enter into a sale. However, the personal selling function would not be possible, or the sales force will not be able to perform the function until and unless it works in close coordination with other departments. In the previous lecture, we have seen how the sales, the R&D, the production and operations, the finance, the purchase must work in coordination. We have discussed the relevance or the importance of the coordination that must exist between the different departments. In this lecture, we will be talking about this in a little more detail. We will be seeing how sales and production must work in coordination with each other. We will also discuss how there must be coordination between the sales and the R&D, how there must be coordination between the sales department and the HR function or the HR department, sales and finance, sales and accounting, sales and purchasing, sales and public relations, and how it is also very important that the sales department works in close coordination with the legal cell. So this is all that we would be studying in this particular lecture. Now, let us first start with sales and production. Now, in earlier times, it was a make and sell philosophy. The companies would make or manufacture a product and then sell it in the market. So, as we all know, the seller was the king. Also, production units would start their work only after orders were secured, especially in the case of a B2B scenario, where it was purely that once orders were secured and half payments were accepted, only and only then would the production and operations department begin manufacturing the same. Today the times have changed. Today it is that sales are forecasted and production is based according to sales forecast and sales potential. So the sales team provides inputs into production planning and inventory management. How? By providing inputs about customer requirements, needs, wants, preferences, customer feedback, and this helps understanding or predicting the sales estimates, the sales potential, the sales forecast, and this information with respect to future sales or with respect to forecast and potential acts as vital inputs into the production planning and into inventory management. Technical information provided by the production and operations people also help the sales team understand the product better, and when they have to explain the technicalities of the product during sales presentations to their customers or to their clients, or when they have to explain the product technicalities to their channel partners who will further push it down to the end customer in the case of B2C. In all these cases, technical information provided by the production operation department is of immense help to the salespeople. So the salespeople are provided information by the production and operations department, information about the product, about the technicalities of the product, especially in the case of products which are capital goods, or products which are technically very complex, or products which are very complex in the case of B2B, or in case of high involvement products in case of B2C, like for example consumer durables, etc. So both the sales team and the production operations team help each other. The sales team provides information to the production team or the operation team about customer needs, wants, preferences, customers' complaints or feedback with respect to existing products and product line. So the operations team gets an idea about what is required, or if there are complaints, where are complaints, what can be done to minimize such complaints or such customer grievances with the product, and this gives vital clues to them for product design as well. Also, the inputs that comes from the sales people in terms of customer preferences, etc., gives to the production operations department information on what is selling, what is not selling, if something is not selling, why it is not selling, and if something is selling, what is the demand. Now based on the demand, again the production planning the team is given some given inputs, and production planning and inventory management can be successfully carried out. On the other hand, the information provided by the production operations department with respect to the products, or improvisations made in the products, or new variants of the products, or technical details about the product, about the features, benefits, attributes, etc. This information provided by the production operations to the sales team helps sales team build confidence in themselves. The sales team feel they are more aware, they are more informed about the product and about the product line. They would have more confidence in making sales presentations. They would also be in a better position to handle queries, and in such cases this would instill in the buyer's confidence also. So as we have discussed earlier, because the salesperson would be very well equipped with knowledge, he would be confident in making sales presentations and handling queries. This would also build a feeling of trust in the buyer, and the buyer would also be more confident taking a decision or deciding to make a purchase decision in favor of that particular brand. So basically the technical information provided by the production operations department empowers the sales team. So both the sales team and the production operations department help each other. In cases where there are sudden orders, again the sales team immediately rushes to the production operations, gives them the information that such and such product is required in such and such quantity as soon as possible. And so this would mean that the production planning and inventory management would need to be revised or reviewed so that the customer is able to get the right product at the right time and the right place. In case of sudden orders, the sales department must immediately coordinate with the production and operations department. Also, in cases where there is a shortage of the end product or the final good, because there are problems with the raw material or with work in progress, there is a inventory shortage with for the raw material or for the work in progress, or even in the case of finished goods, such information must be provided by the production and operations department to the sales team, so that the sales team can make the customer understand the problem that the company is facing. This would mean that the salesperson would be able to communicate to the customer that yes, your orders would be met soon, they would be fulfilled soon. There is a problem with the machine, or there is a problem in the plant with respect to a machine, or with the labor force, or there is a shortage of raw material, work in progress. So any of these, because this information would reach the sales team would be in a better position to explain to the customer, whether B2B or in the case of B2C, he would be able to explain to the channel partners why there is a delay, and so the sales team also would be able to help the production, and the production department would be able to help the sales team. So in this way, proper care will be dealt with while dealing with customers, securing further orders, and bringing business to the organization. Production department also plays a very important role in assisting the sales department when training is required. So in case of new products, or in case where new technologies are being used to manufacture new products, and there is going to be a change in the product, either as an incremental change or as a radical change, in those cases the sales team must be abreast or made updated, and here the production department has a very important role to identify the training needs, communicate the same to the marketing head and to the HR team, so that sales training programs can be organized, so that training programs which are continual training programs, whether of short duration or long duration, can be organized for the sales force, so that the sales force can be better trained, they can be better equipped to handle the selling process. They would be able to keep themselves updated, handle customer queries, make presentations, give demonstrations, help during installation, deal with customer complaints in a better manner. So production department plays a key role in assisting the sales department in determining training needs, requirements as regarding new products or as regarding upgradation of existing products. So even in case of incremental or radical changes, the production and operations department would be able to understand better if sales training is required, and if sales training or training for sales force is required, it would communicate the same to the sales and the marketing head and to the HR department to organize such training programs for the sales force. So that is how we see that they work together. Now the sales department also works in close coordination with the R&D, and this is extremely important. Sales has always been regarded as a line function, and the staff has been delegated sales has always been considered as a line function, and the sales department and the marketing department have performed the line role. The R&D has always been regarded as a staff function in most cases. However, in companies which deal with biotechnology or which deal with pharmaceutical drugs, etc., there of course R&D also assumes the role of a line function. But in most cases, the production and operations, the sales, they are regarded as the line function for an organization, and the R&D is regarded as a staff function. But the role of the R&D cannot be undermined, because any kind of changes which shall be made to the product have to be made in the design first, and this has to be done by the R&D team. Now where does the R&D team get its input from? Inputs with respect to customer needs, wants, changes, preferences, etc. Input with respect to customer complaints and other feedback comes from the sales team to the marketing and from there it comes to the R&D. Now the R&D department thereafter has to sit with with their team and decide on how improvisations need to be made in the product design and in the final product, so that changing needs, wants, preferences of customers can be better fulfilled. 1. 2. Customer complaints with respect to existing products and certain complaints regarding product features and attributes with the current products can be better resolved. So a close coordination between the sales and the R&D department is very, very important as regards not only with respect to development of new products, but also with respect to upgradation or improvisations or modifications of existing products. So both the departments assist each other in designing products, improvising them and adjusting existing product lines with respect to changing customer needs, wants and preferences. The sales team realizes how customer needs, wants and preferences are changing, or how customers in the market are behaving. The sales teams also takes feedback from the channel partners about customer complaints in the case of B2C. It takes feedback from their customers in the case of B2B with respect to customer complaints or grievances with respect to product form and product features and attributes and benefits. This comes as an input to the R&D team, who then has to sit and then plan and design or redesign the product, decide on upgrading, modifying an existing product, or actually launch a new product so as to be able to meet customer needs and wants more effectively and efficiently than the competitor. So the sales and the R&D team must work in close coordination with each other. Now again, the HR function also in most organizations is a staff function, but the sales department needs the HR function all the time, because when the sales, in case of Salesforce management, whether it is to do with recruitment, selection, training, motivation, compensation, etc., in all of these cases, the broad structure is uniform for every employee in the organization, and that is decided by the HR department. But because the sales team is different, the sales job is different, certain changes are required with respect to job analysis, recruitment, selection, training, performance appraisal, compensations, systems, etc. And to suit the unique nature of the sales job, such changes need to be made in the HR policies, which are then more customized for the sales function only. So while the HR policies will be uniform for everybody, certain changes need to be made in the HR policies to suit the needs and interests of the people in the sales force. That is why there is always a requirement of customizing them or changing the nature of these policies as HR policies to suit the needs and wants of the sales function. The various HR policies are actually revised or redesigned to suit the sales job, and while the basic structure remains the same for everybody in the organization, certain changes are made with respect to job analysis, in planning, that is Salesforce planning, in recruitment, in selection, in training, in performance appraisal, in compensation management. And so the marketing and the sales team has to sit with the HR team to formulate such changes and to restructure those policies, keeping in mind the unique nature of the sales job. So the HR department assists the sales department in meeting their Salesforce requirements in recruitment, selection, training, performance appraisal, compensation management, especially because these have to be in tune with the sales function and with the requirements of the marketing and the sales team. So HR department specializes in these jobs like job analysis, recruitment, selection, training, motivation, and the marketing and sales department seek their help, and the HR function for the sales department is executed after consultation with the marketing and sales department. So both the departments coordinate on formulating policies for compensation management or for performance appraisal or for leave policies and pensions and things like that, typically pertaining to the sales force. So because the sales force, the kind of environment they work in, the nature of their job where they face immense amount of role conflict, the nature of the job where they have to travel a lot, where they have to stay away from their families, where they have they have to report to the marketing and to the sales team, as well as take care of the channel partners, take care of customers, take care of clients, take care of society at large. So the job becomes extremely demanding, and so certain changes in the basic HR policies have to be made to, especially in the compensation or the incentive system, also it's a performance appraisal system, so also leave rules and leave policies, social security benefits. So keeping all this in mind, the HR people have to work in close conjunction with the marketing team and the sales team to design such, or to change, or to have these special policies, or such an unique policies or different policies for the sales and marketing team as in contrast to other employees in the organization. The sales and finance team also work together. The sales department helps the finance function or the finance department by sharing with them information with respect to sales estimates, sales potential, sales forecast, and this helps the company decide on its budget. Okay, so we shall be talking about the budget in the next lecture. So the finance department helps the sales department also by giving them information about credit checks of the clients, giving them information about customer credit, order to payment cycles. Now, what is the order to payment cycle? The order to payment cycle is a part of the internal record system of the marketing department, and it is regarded to be a very important element in the marketing information system. It is a part of the internal record system, and the internal record system is again a part of the marketing information system. We have discussed earlier that the marketing information system comprises the internal records, the marketing intelligence system, and the marketing research system. So here the finance department helps the sales department by providing them information on rapid credit checks of customers, looking into the fact whether payments have been received or not received. So order to payment cycle, also issues with respect to collection of payments, etc., receivables, etc. All this is information is provided by the finance team. Both the departments help each other in framing very sound credit policies, deciding on working capital management, etc. Now, sales and accounting. Now, earlier the accounting department was immensely relied upon, hugely relied upon by the sales team for several things like billing of customers, or computation of wages and salaries for the sales team, computation of incentives for the sales team, the sales and cost analysis, also receivables, working capital, etc. However, with the development of the marketing information systems, these activities are now taken care by the information system department. So, for example, the order to payment cycle, when were orders received, when they were processed, when the products were delivered, when payments were received, whether in part or in full, status with respect to working capital, all this is now well managed by the information systems department of the finance division. So accounting today has assumed a lesser important role, in terms of physical accounting. Of course, packages are there, software packages are there, which keep a real time tab on how finances are being handled by a company, and how, whether orders are delivered, when payments are received, whether how compensation packages are being arranged, computed, and managed. Okay. Now, coming to the sales and purchase department. Now, the sales department provides information on the sales estimates, forecasting, sales forecast, sales potential, and sales estimates. So, these estimates go to the purchase department, and it assists them in procuring stocks of raw material and other items, so that production can go on unhampered, and information about the sales department needs helps the purchase department to procure the right kind of product in the right time, at the right place, and in the right quality. Purchase department keeps tab on their vendors, especially with respect to quality issues related to raw material, components, parts. Also, it keeps tab on the right prices which are quoted by, whether the prices quoted by the vendors are right or appropriate or need to be negotiated upon. So, the purchase department keeps the sales department informed about the progress with respect to raw materials, and helps provide scope for redirection of efforts in case required. This means that in case the purchase department realizes that there is a problem with the quality, and an entire consignment of raw material must be returned to the vendor because it is not quality, it is not meeting the quality standards, or the purchase department gets to know that the vendor cannot supply the quantity desired, and there would be delay in procurement. So, this information is shared by the purchase team with the sales team and with the production operations team. So, the sales team can then inform the customer or the client or their channel partners about the delay that could happen because of non-availability of the right quality raw material or non-availability of raw material components and parts and supplies. So, the sales people would provide estimates to the purchase people, and the purchase department would thereby decide on how much of what kind of raw material and product must be bought at what time. And again, the purchase department here works in close conjunction with the production and operations people. So, the sales, purchase and the production operations people work in close conjunction, and the production and the purchase people try and ensure that the right kind of product is available at the right time at the right place, so that production is not hampered in any way, production cycles are not intervened in any way, and the end product can be delivered to the sales team for final delivery in the market. So, to the customer. So, they work in close conjunction with each other. In case there is a delay with procurement, whether with respect to quality product or with respect to the quantity ordered, so this information is shared with the sales team, and so that the sales team can further communicate the same to the customer, whether at the B2B or the channel partners at the B2C. Sales people also consult the public relations department on actions that may affect the image of the company. Both the sales team would always want a good image for their company, a good reputation for their company, and the public relations department works hard to ensure that there is a good brand image for the company. The company is held in with esteem, with repute, with respect by the various stakeholders, both within and outside the organization. So, both the parties work together in creating a very sound and superior image of the company to the outside world, to the public. And while the sales department benefits out of this brand image and out of this company image and reputation because it gets good sales, the efforts of the sales people also help the public relations department develop this good image. How? The manner in which sales are realized, the manner in which customers are taken care of, the manner in which customers regard a company or respect a company, or adds further gives further boost to the public relations department to build a good image or build goodwill for the company. So, the sales department consults the public relations department on actions that might lead to good brand and good company image building. Also, both the departments work together in creating a sound and superior image for the company into the outside world, and the two departments relationship between them is informal, based on close communication. Now, here I would like to also stress upon the fact that while the public relations department helps build a good image through press releases, through sponsorships, through events, etc., and through CSR activities, the sales department also helps the PR public relations department do this. The manner in which the sales team deals with the clients, the customer satisfaction, the loyal customer base that it creates, also the market share or the sales and the profits that the sales department generates for the company gives to the company a position of reputation in the eyes of the customer. So, if the sales team does not do this, the public relations team would not be able to do anything. So, both help each other. While the sales department creates the base and creates a loyal, satisfied customer base, creates goodwill, creates good reputation. This is further enhanced by the efforts of the public relations department, who go in for efforts like sponsorships, events management, press releases, corporate social responsibility, etc., to further build on the image of reputation and goodwill for the company. The sales department also must work in close conjunction with the legal department. As regards to formation of contracts, especially in the case of B2B scenario, both the sales and the legal department must work together. Both the departments coordinate with each other to check so that there is no kind of negative publicity for the organization, and no kind of legal problems can crop up either with the employees within the organization or with channel partners outside the organization, or with employees, or with clients and customers. So both the sales and the sales team or the sales department takes suggestions from the legal department to ensure that there is no clause or no clause in the contract or in the agreement which can create a problem out with the channel partners or with the customers and clients. Similarly, they must operate such that there are no legal problems within the company as well between employees. So it is the responsibility of the legal department to ensure that no false claims are made by the sales department through any of the sales promotion media, because if this is done, this would mean a false promise to the customer, which could further lead the company into a problem. So the sales department and the legal department must work in coordination. When the sales department formulates its promotional messages in conjunction with the advertising department, that time as well legal clauses are taken into account, and the message that is conveyed to the clients or to the customers through promotional campaigns is also vetted by this legal department to ensure that there are no legal problems in future and there is no negative publicity for the organization in future. Now, the sales department also maintains contacts with external entities. These entities can be classified as the final buyers. They have relationships with the industry, with the government, with the press and with the media. And now, let us come to the relationship between the sales department and the final buyers. We have been discussing from the first lecture onwards that the buyer, or in the case of a B2B or in the case of B2C, is the most significant entity for an organization and for the sales department. The prosperity of a company does not depend just on a product which is manufactured. It actually depends upon satisfaction of customer needs and wants and preferences, and it is very important that the organization and the sales force satisfy the needs and wants of customers more effectively and efficiently than the competitor. And for this, it is important that the sales department is in regular touch with the customers, either in the case of B2B or in the case of B2C. They must understand what changing needs, wants and preferences are. They must also take feedback and try and come up with improvisations or modifications in existing products or new products altogether. So creating a base of satisfied buyers is not the responsibility of the sales department, it is also the responsibility of other departments in the organization. For example, if the production cycle is halted, or if logistics department is late in delivery of the products, so this would lead to customer dissatisfaction. So it's important that everybody in the organization, whether it is in the R&D or in the production or in are all in all working together with the sales department. And in case of key customers, it is important that the sales team, the exclusive staff is delegated to handle them. We have discussed earlier that people with high or medium sales potential have to be treated very differently to those who have low sales potentials. So the basic product service policies which are formulated by the sales department determine how easily salespeople will be able to sell those products to the final customer. And the sales department here acts as a very vital link between the company and the final buyers, and through the sales force which keeps in direct touch with the final buyers of these products. Now, sales department also has to form very important relationships with the industry. This relates to taking memberships and adhering to the rules of the trade associations to which a particular company is a part of, or to the industry association to which a company belongs. It is the responsibility of the sales people to interpret the problem of the industry, to understand the opportunities and threats that the industry is facing, and discuss the same with the client if required. For example, in case there is a crisis with raw material, and across the industry the companies in business are getting affected. So the same must be communicated to the customer, to the client, that there would be a delay in the delivery of the final product because there is a shortage of the raw material for all the companies in the industry. So the sales department executive must always act in the interests of the public, and to do so it must join hands with other players in the industry so that they can have similar policies when it comes to situations of crisis, so that they can deal with the crisis in the similar manner. Activities like trade association advertising, furnishing key witnesses for legal hearings, and disseminating industry news to the company also fall in this domain. Sales department should keep a track on the moves of the customers and on the competitors and take important strategic decisions. They should refrain from making any negative remarks about the other competitors in the market, because this could land them into legal problems. They should follow ethical guidelines, and health competition between the different players or different competitive players in the market should be very, very healthy. Ethical guidelines should be shared among competing companies to keep things as fair and acceptable, to keep things as far as possible fair, transparent and acceptable. Now, the sales department also has relationships with the government. The sales department should adhere to the rules, regulations, laws which are framed by the government and by the department. For example, laws related to advertising should be followed before promotional campaigns are floated. These laws could relate to the content, the context of the advertisement. Sometimes there is a requirement to change your promotional policies because there is an objection to it, either by the society or by public forums or by the government. So those have to be taken into account. Also there could be changes which are enunciated by the government from time to time with respect to rules and regulations, and the sales department must keep themselves very well updated about this. Information is often provided with the government through their databases, and this also helps companies, especially in the case of social marketing. Government also affects the corporate and indirectly the sales department by expanding and contracting the credit in the economy through the the monetary policy or through the fiscal policies directed by the government. There could be changes in the economic circumstances that an industry faces or the economic environment that an industry faces, and this also has to be taken care of while formulating production and marketing policies. So while taking orders from the clients or while delivering these orders, often it may so happen that there are changes in the economic policies due to which there may be a problem with the demand or supply, or there may be a problem with respect to price. So these things have to be taken care of. Finally, we come to the sales department and the relations with the press and media. The various writers, editors in newspapers, magazines, trade journals, as well as on the broadcast media like TV and radio, all comprise the press, and unfavorable comments in any of these channels could affect the image of the company. So it's very important for the sales department to maintain relationships with them and maintain a very good public image of the company and of themselves. So this would help immensely when integrated into an effective promotional campaign. So by sharing relevant and very positive stories with the press, the sales department can also help build good public image of the company. Maintaining an open door policy with the press people or with the press executives again helps forge good relationships, and reporters and editors who write well or who publish good stories must always, for a particular company, must be complimented, as this would help in building a good rapport with the writer, with the reporter, as well as with the channel or with the media. So with this we come to an end of this particular lecture. The references are still Kandef, Govoni, Puri, Sales and Distribution Management, Pearson Education, 6th edition. This brings us to an end of the second lecture on the third module of the course. I hope you have found this lecture beneficial. Thank you.